A lot can happen in a week, some of it good, some of it bad, some of it downright ugly. When faced with intriguing developments in the week's news, we turn to a rotating panel of non-experts to parse the good, the bad, and the ugly of it all. On today's panel, Jack Young, Artistic Director of the Houston Shakespeare Festival, David Branham, Professor of Political Science at the University of Houston Downtown, and Mary Flood, Legal Consultant with Androvet Legal Media and Marketing. Jack, David, Mary, welcome to Houston Matters. Good morning.
Hola, hola.
Thank you, Craig.
Panel, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio sent a cable to all U.S. embassies and consulates abroad Tuesday, informing them of an official policy change taking effect the next day. All diplomatic correspondence was to stop using the Calibri font and return to Times New Roman. Rubio explained that typography shapes how official documents are perceived in terms of cohesion, professionalism, and formality. He also noted that it clashed with the typeface in State Department letterhead, but he also indicated how the Biden State Department's shift to the sans serif font in 2023 was supposed to mitigate accessibility issues for individuals with disabilities. Basically, people with low or declining vision, dyslexia, and ADHD can struggle with serif fonts, as those little decorative marks at the edges of letters can be blurry or distracting. Rubio concluded the font change did not do that. Further, he argued in the cable obtained by the AP and first reported by the New York Times that, quote, although switching to Calibri was not among the previous administration's most illegal, immoral, radical, or wasteful instances of DEI, it was nonetheless cosmetic, unquote. There's a new serif in town. Is this good, bad, or ugly, Jack Young?
Yeah, well, if the good is the positive for the most folks and the bad is the negative for a good many people, then the ugly is bad with an extra influence to shove it in someone's eye. I'm going to go with ugly. I don't know. The poor man had enough trouble getting hydrated when he was debating things, and to have to stick his thumb in the eye of folks. We do curb cuts so that folks who are wheelchair bound can get through. And it is a bit of a challenge to put that in on a street, but it is good for everybody because I'm seeing all sorts of folks try to haul all their possessions along in these little wagons. So yeah, what was done for a certain set of people to help them out actually is helping everybody out. So helping folks out that have reading challenges. And if we're lucky, we may all end up in that higher end of age where your eyes aren't functioning as well. So Mr. Rubio may be interested in that kind of font somewhere down the line. So I would think that would be okay without having to go the extra road of, oh, and by the way, it's of the communist plot to come steal your mind's world. So,
all right, good, bad, or ugly, David Branham.
I'm gonna go with good, only because I really think they're trying to change for the better. Although I like Calibri better than I like Times New Roman, so I'm on the opposite end. I think it's preference bound, and he had some reasoning for doing it, but I could personally do without trying to politicize every single thing that the government does. I mean, this just put it out. We're changing it. We think it's better. That's it, and so that would be fine. I know that font matters because I've published a lot, and so you have certain guidelines that you have. Some fonts, when you're doing things, have advantages over others. Like if you don't have much space, Arial Narrow is a really good font. You can put a whole lot into nothing. If you need to have the characters all equal the same size, you can go to Courier New. It's a kind of an ugly font, but it gets the job done with that. So I understand the need to change it and so forth, but I don't understand the need to politicize it. So I'm not going to criticize just Marco Rubio because I think everybody does this in politics, and I would rather that they just kind of stop. I mean, we need to kind of focus on what we are on the same page on a little bit more and less on making sure that we try to make the other guy look bad all the time. So that's my message there.
All right, good, bad, or ugly, Mary Flood.
I've got bad, though. Listening to Jack, I might go sort of toward ugly. But I think having you guys both be professors, you're probably used to people using the largest fonts they could to make the paper look like it's, a little longer.
That's why they're using that one. I didn't realize.
Wait, did other people do that too? Darn it.
But Marco Rubio, he's so anti-woke, he's practically sleepwalking here. It's just, the language that it's not the most illegal, it's not the most immoral, that's like it's just so over the top. My favorite thing is him saying that it was wasteful. It was wasteful to change the font. Therefore, I'm going to change the font again. It's like the war on logic. The name of his directive was return to the traditional, and this administration is returning to a lot of traditions sort of the British Empire that we fought to leave. A lot of this stuff has been oppressive and harmful, and I'm stunned that he's taking the time, and I shouldn't be stunned that he's taking the time and the money to make this kind of change. Well, so many horrible things are going on, the deterioration of the DOJ and the attack on the judiciary, and attack on small boats, and attack on people who fell off of small boats we've attacked, and it's infinite. And I think that they're hurting the American people in so many ways, including I think they're hurting our necks because we have to shake our heads so often that I think that there's some neck problems being created by this administration.
Can we just compromise on just one font for everything, wingdings, and be done with it?
Yeah, Comic Sans.
I do like changing for the better.
Chalkboard.
I think sometimes people change just to change and make a point.
Yeah.
Right?
Panel, a new flight from Argentina to China is now the world's longest commercial flight route. It takes 29 hours, with just a brief stopover in Auckland, New Zealand for refueling and a new crew. As The Independent reported this week, in all, the route covers 12,400 miles in the air from Buenos Aires to Shanghai. Celebrations were held last week in both cities to mark the debut of the China Eastern Airlines route, which actually originates in Shanghai and traveling to Buenos Aires takes a mere 25 hours. You can spend more than a day in the air and take one plane around half the circumference of the Earth, though I would recommend against using the center seat. Is this good, bad, or ugly, David?
I think you're right about the center seat. But I'm going to say good, because if there's a demand for this and people want to buy a ticket and go halfway around the world in 29 hours, I think they should be able to do it. I personally would not like it very much. I think the longest flight I've had is from Taipei to Los Angeles, and that was like 14 or 15 hours right there. And then, I had to stop over to come to Houston, so that's almost 20 hours in the air. And that's tough. It's not fun. And as a passenger, you need a mindset to be able to get through this, where I'm going to somehow enjoy this flight. Sometimes you find a really good movie, or two or three good movies in this case.
You can watch all of Game of Thrones.
Exactly.
Game of Thrones.
But if you can do that, then I say go for it. Everybody has a choice. You don't have to do it, but if you need to do it, you can.
All right, good, bad, or ugly, Mary.
David, we finally agree. I think it's good, too. I think it's just because it's not important that we agree.
Is the roof falling in?
My longest flight was probably to Tahiti, but when you get to Tahiti, you're like, I'm pretty happy. So it's, I don't know what it would be like to go through so many time zones. I have no idea, but I'm thinking you need to come, not just with the right attitude, but with, probably like noise-canceling headphones and an eye mask and a neck pillow and various layers and and what might be good is like an IV too for hydration
Or mind-altering substances.
There you go. I'm gonna like you. Anyway,
it's gonna go right to his social media after the show, right?
Good, bad, or ugly, Jack?
There aren't enough peanuts in the world. Pretzels. Again, I will celebrate my colleagues here that if there's somebody who is desperate to get out of Beijing and must go to Buenos Aires, I guess that's probably as direct as you can do it. I also have friends that run marathons and friends that run ultra marathons, 50 miles. This guy ran for 11 straight hours. There's some kind of dopamine thing for him that makes him want to run for 11 straight hours. Whatever dopamine rush someone gets from jumping across the world that way, I suppose it's bragging rights in the bar. I'll let somebody else buy him the nachos. I'm just going to walk around and find somebody else to talk to.
You don't have to run while you're on the plane.
Maybe that might be just up and back and down the aisles or something. Just to have
pretty much have to almost, to be
yes.
honest with you.
I mean, every cell in your body is. We don't accelerate astronauts for 29 hours like that.
I will say too, if your health is a little bit frail, this is not for you.
Yeah.
Flying a plane is not a healthy thing to do, so it's tough.
Yeah, you should take an immune system too. That's what you need.
Yeah.
Do they have sensory deprivation tanks? Maybe you could go in there and just be in there the whole time somehow.
Finally, panel, someone at In-N-Out Burger apparently had enough of the at first harmless but now admittedly annoying 6-7 craze. I'm sure you've been inundated with it by now, with kids screaming and jumping and moving their hands up and down anytime anyone anywhere says those two numbers in succession. It became so pervasive this year that Dictionary.com named 6-7 the word of the year. Never mind, it's 2 words, but I digress. As I said, the folks at In-N-Out were growing tired of the noise every time they announced that Order 67 was ready, so the chain has removed the number 67 from its ordering system, skipping from 66 to 68. By the way, they're also skipping 69. We won't get into that. So no one has to read the numbers aloud and prompt that reaction. As the Houston Chronicle's Jared Wardwell reported Thursday, the change was made some weeks ago. In fact, we maybe 6-7 weeks late in noticing. There you go. In-N-Out Burger retires the number 67 just to keep the peace. Is this good, bad, or ugly, Mary?
I think it's good. I think it makes sense for In-N-Out, given we were able to look at a video of, like, it looked like dozens and dozens of teenagers getting really excited when they said 67, which was surely getting in the way of the business. And it's good for the teenagers. I mean, all the other horrible things these hormone-filled strong young people could be doing, to just go around and act stupid when people say 2 numbers is, that's not bad. I think social media is generally making us stupider. But, we've always been stupid. But the Tide Challenge where teenagers poisoned themselves. And
that was pretty bad.
Yeah, the Ice Bucket Challenge, and that was for charity. And even adults were doing that. And it, we'll do a lot of stupid things.
There's the Kool-Aid Challenge these days. Did you hear about
What's
that one?
that?
Oh, it's where you mimic the 1970s era Kool-Aid commercial where Kool-Aid bursts through a wall. So you just run headfirst into like a fence or something. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
Not a good idea.
We may not see those people a lot afterwards.
No.
Yeah. You
anyway,
out of the gene pool.
I understand that teenagers, need to do something that their parents don't understand, and this is pretty good. And they usually do slang too. And as soon as the parents say "riz" or "slay," they have to do a new one.
Good, bad, or ugly, Jack?
Stupidity has lasted for most of human history. There was the time that people tried to cram into phone booths, or how many people could they put in a Volkswagen, or get a spoonful of cinnamon and stick it in your mouth, and how long can you last with that? So it's harmless enough, I suppose, for them to gyrate and ululate over the number 6-7, but I don't know that the rest of us has to provoke it. So if that, by removing 6-7, keeps the peace a little bit more. There are hotels that don't have the 13th floor either. So,
Yeah.
Right.
we got, okay, this is just going to cause more trouble than it's going to make for a positive. Sure.
Oh, that's the reason why.
Yeah.
They
Good,
don't
bad,
have
or
a
ugly,
13th
David?
floor. So I'm just curious. I will say that if you're disrupting a business and everybody's around, people react to reaction. So it may be difficult to be around people reacting to 6-7 for absolutely no reason at all. So I think this is good. I think it's a good idea to do this. But I love what Mary and Jack were talking about before the show. We were saying, if you really want to get rid of this trend, all us old people need to just do it ourselves. And
That'll shut it down in 2 seconds.
Exactly.
Has
So-
Whataburger shut it down yet, though?
I'm afraid we just have 6 or 7 seconds left. Jack Young is the artistic director of the Houston Shakespeare Festival. David Branham's a professor of political science at UH Downtown. Mary Flood's a legal consultant with Androvet Legal Media and Marketing. Thank you all very much.
Thanks
Thank
a lot.
you, Craig.
Happy holidays.